I'll say, you got it!
What did we?
Hello, everybody. You know, does anyone remember that time Akon promised to build a $6 billion futuristic city? I think it was going to be in Senegal or something. I think it should have been Senegal, where he promised to build a $6 billion futuristic city, kind of like some people would call it like the Wakanda of Africa. And somehow 4 years later, he's still in the tutorial phase of Sin City. Like they've made no progress at all. And now let's kind of do like somewhat of like a deep dive into it, because this is crazy what's going on. Now, also a disclaimer: everything mentioned in this video is just everything I found on the internet. If anything has been misinterpreted, misconstrued, or miscommunicated, just let me know in the comments below. This is in no way, shape, or form meant to influence your opinion on anyone mentioned in this video. Please don't go message or talk to anyone in this video. This is in no way, shape, or form meant to be taken as the truth. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Now, today we're going to be looking at the story of how Akon City went from the dreams of becoming the world's Wakanda of West Africa to now one of the most ambitious failures of the decade, and one of the worst ever like cryptocurrency scams at the same time, and even one of the worst celebrity-led mega projects that have just gone down the drain. There's false hope, dangers of big promises, and there's no foundation at all. I think as of right now, I think it has one building on the site, and I think there was a plaque stone or something. They did allocate land to it, I know that. And they have one billboard and a recreational center. I'll show you what it looks like on the screen right now. And holy. But anyway, in this video, we're breaking down the rise and fall of the Akon City. We look at how Akon promised and what Akon promised, what actually happened, who got hurt, and why this whole thing was a warning sign from the get-go. Whether you're into urban development, celebrity drama, or just wondering how someone would pitch a whole smart city and just deliver absolutely nothing 4 years later with $6 billion worth of backing, today is your day. Now let's go. Now let's go back to 2020. COVID was spreading, the world was in chaos, and in the middle of all that, Akon, the guy who would give us Smack That and Locked Up, stood in front of the camera and laid out one of the wildest announcements I ever heard in my whole life. He said he was going to build a smart city in Senegal, but just not any smart city, but a full-on futuristic utopia. Like, we're talking like fucking full-on meet the Jets, and we're talking about flying taxis, like state-of-the-art hospitals, smart roads, renewable energy, robotic waste management, cryptocurrency as the official currency. I think it was called Akoin or something. The whole thing, like the whole shebang, bro. This thing was named humbly as Akon City. Like, this thing would have been full-on Wakanda, like in the middle of Senegal. Everyone would have wanted to live here. Even he himself compared it to Wakanda, the fictional tech kingdom in the movies, the Wakanda forever. Honestly, like, even being a black dude, I fucking hated that thing. Like, I hated it every time I'd walk somewhere and say to someone, they'd like do this, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? I'm goddamn Kenyan. But anyway, he himself compared Marvel's Black Panther's Wakanda, and the thing is, except that this one was gonna be real. This one's gonna be like an actual thing. It's actually gonna be like somewhere you can go. He said construction will begin in 2021 and be finished by 2029. That is the $6 billion timeline in just 8 years. So he expected to build a whole futuristic city with flying taxis that we've never seen before, even today, in the less time than it took to build the fucking Burj Khalifa. Like, that's just how ambitious this guy was, like. And I don't know, I'm not saying that it was intended to be a scam in no way, shape, or form. I'm just reporting what happened, okay? I'm just a guy on YouTube. Anyway, the location, a 2,000-acre stretch of land near the Atlantic Ocean in Senegal, gifted to Akon by the Senegalese government. It was supposed to create jobs, build tourism, and transform the country into a futuristic hub for business and technology. And one of the things that really kind of makes me sad about this situation, that so many young Africans believed in this project. Like, if this thing actually somehow got pulled off, like, imagine how big this would have been if somehow, somewhere, he managed to just pull this off. Honestly, I personally didn't believe that this was going to happen, but I wanted to see them try. When I look at what they've come up with, it's like, damn, bro, they make it past the tutorial. But anyway, at first it kind of looked legit. Like I won't lie, he had like posts with officials. There were all these 3D renders going around. There was this one big flashy website, press tours, talks of hospitals tours, a stadium, a marina, like this thing seemed like it was gonna be legit. Like I remember me and my friends, like I'm from Kenya, and we used to go and talk about this thing all the time. Talk about how we just go there, we'll invest in land in this bitch. But oh boy, were we wrong. As much as there was all this press, all these people going around, him shaking hands with all these government officials, there was no actual city. There was no one, like no one dug a hole, no one cracked the ground even. Like, I think all they did was put a plaque down for a while, and then said this would be the site of Akon City. It kind of looked like a gravestone a little bit. I won't lie, but anyway, at first, to this day, 4 years later, if you visit the proposed location of Akon City, you won't find roads. There's no hospital, or even a foundation or anything. I think there's only one building right now. Okay, so I guess there is one foundation, but then like, still, man, like what you find is a billboard and sand, and, like open land. It's just dirt, pretty much. One building and a bunch of dirt, and some trees in the distance. I think. The only physical evidence of anything ever happened there is a sign that says a future site of Akon City, sitting in the middle of an empty field, and I guess now the recreational center too. Which I don't know, man. Like I feel like that thing looked like a grave. Hold on, let me look it up. Damn. Goddamn, bro. This is the most ambitious thing I've ever heard in my life. God. Yo, this is what the fuck people spend $6 billion on, man. This is crazy, bro. So anyway, back to business. There's no buildings, no workers, no cement mixers, no nothing. Like nothing at all. Nothing's going on. And this is where the problems begin to pile up. Now, first of all, Akon says the city would cost $6 billion to build, but no one really knew where the money was gonna come from. In interviews, Akon said that he'd secured an investment from private investors and partners and stuff like that, or like something within those lines. I'll go and put up on the screen what he said word for word, bar for bar. Now, when asked who exactly those people were, the names were vague or non-existent. A major early partner, a US-based firm called KE International, was supposedly handling construction. They would claim to have raised $4 billion in funding, but journalists digging deeper into the situation couldn't verify any of this. The so-called funding never confirmed. The partner company linked to other suspicious ventures. Things just weren't adding up. This was just one big mess of a situation, and like Akon was just in the middle of it. And the worst part about it, like everyone knew who Akon was. Akon was popping at one point in time. Like, don't get me wrong. For any of you who weren't around for the Akon era in 2004 when Locked Up came out, there was like Lonely. Oh my God. Akon is like one of the club goats. Like when Akon comes in the club, everyone just starts screaming, man. Like even if you're a youngster who doesn't know who Akon is, like who doesn't know what he looks like, you've definitely heard his voice before. 1,000% you've heard his voice before. Like no doubt in my mind. But anyway, then there was the cryptocurrency, and this is where things started to get messy. And like just like any other celebrity cryptocurrency, I think we all know the way this one went. It was called Akoin. It was supposed to be the currency of the city, so people weren't going to be using cash or any standard controlled bank. No, they were going to be using the cryptocurrency of Akoin. And even this kind of like puts me in a weird headspace, because I think to myself like, yo, bro, if a city goes ahead and starts using Akoin as let's say a cryptocurrency as their main currency, and it just tanks, it just hits the bottom, like let's say everyone just pulls out, everybody sells, the value goes down and it just tanks down, like There's everything in the city like just become like unaffordable. Having a cryptocurrency as your currency is more risky than just like a regular currency, because it's like if it tanks, especially one like Akoin that's backed up by a celebrity, right? That when it's a cryptocurrency that isn't up there, like I trust like an Ethereum based economy, I trust like a Bitcoin based economy, but I wouldn't trust an Akoin based economy or like some meme coin based economy. Like that's insane. At least it is to me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyway, it was supposed to be the currency of the city, meaning everything from your groceries to your rent will be paid in Akoin. But in 2022, Akoin had tanked in value, and its only real world application was a test run in a single Kenyan hospital. Hey, that's where I'm from. For any of you who don't know where I'm from, but that is it. A whole city was supposed to be run on it, but the coin couldn't even break the top 500 cryptos in the market cap. And like just like I was saying before, like that's what I was thinking. Like holy hell, what are you gonna do? Like once no one starts, like once everyone stops trading and it just tanks, like everyone just pulls out. Like geez, man. Okay, and to make it worse, the entire Akoin white paper was vague, like the kind of thing that sounds futuristic, but it basically just buzzwords. Blockchain powered innovation hubs, tokenized economy engines, no solid plan, just hype. Like these people were just throwing around buzzwords, just like trying to get people to believe in them, and just to me, like just like the way I always say, if something doesn't make sense, it's probably a lie. Now, next up, and this wasn't just some guy experimented with like startup ideas. This was Grammy nominated internationally renowned Akon, and remember, keep in mind, Akon just wasn't some guy off the street who decided to begin doing construction. Akon brought solar power to I think over 14. I think it was 14 nations in Africa, if I'm not wrong. I'm just going based on my pure memory. I was a big Akon fan back in the day when I was young, and Akon brought solar power to I think it was 14 different countries in Africa in his first year. And keep in mind, this like Akon is originally from, yeah, he's from Missouri. So Akon is from Missouri, and the thing is, right? He's had projects like he was born in Missouri and he went to live in Senegal until I think he was about 7. So this guy experienced what it's like to like have no electricity or having the power shut down like at nighttime, having to study in the dark or like walk to school at like, I remember this is Senegal. The sun doesn't go up at like 5 in the morning the way it does here in North America, right? So walking through the streets at like 6 in the morning with no light, complete darkness. It's like it looks like it's midnight, right? And he experienced this firsthand. So what he did was he went ahead and said, I think it was called Bring Light to Africa, and he went ahead and brought solar energy, which allowed street lamps to be added. I think he installed over 100,000 street lamps in his first year. He brought solar power to 14 nations in Africa. He went ahead and like brought street lamps. He like allowed children to like study at night, because I'm telling you, when you have to study, and like in America, I feel like a lot of us take what we have for granted, like the simple necessities such as like lighting, computers, internet, Wi-Fi, constant electricity, like everyone, constant water. People here take that for granted. There's people out here in this world that don't have nothing. Like they wish for the life that you have. So make the most you have of it. Like you only get one life. Remember, you did not get here because you're special. You got to where you are because you're lucky. You could have been born on the other side of the world, living the life that you so desperately tried to avoid, right? So please take your life seriously. Enjoy it while you can. Take care of the people around you. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. I just thought I might throw that in there. So when this idea was proposed, it was proposed as like it was like basically some Grammy nominated celebrity telling poor communities that, hey, look, I have this, I want to come help you. I want to build a city that will lift you out of poverty and turn them into the digital citizen of the future, right? There was a lot of promises, like they basically couldn't say no. Like they were pretty much put in a situation where if the government refused this, they'd be foolish to do so. They needed this. Okay. Now, Akon said thousands of jobs will be created, but no jobs came, none at all. People were waiting. Local media said asking questions. Journalists said digging. By 2022, even the mayor of the region near Akon City admitted that nothing had been started. Not even a single person had come to the site. All they did was place that stone, the like let's just call it the gravestone. All they did was place that and go the fuck home. That was it. So now the field remained empty. Locals began to lose hope, and this is where it begins to get darker because Akon had built a public image as a philanthropist, someone who truly wanted to help Africa. He launched the initiative called Akon Light in Africa in 2014, which claimed to bring solar power to millions of Africans. While there was a few success stories, critics pointed out the number of inconsistent and much of the work was outsourced to Chinese firms. So, like I mentioned earlier, yes, he did bring in like solar power to Africa, but then like it just ended up being work given to the Chinese, right? So there is two sides to it. Like he is a good guy, but he doesn't operate the way he says he does, or at least to me that's the way it seems. Okay. But with Akon City, the criticism turned into outright skepticism. In 2022, a lawsuit was filed in the US accusing Akon of fraud and breach of contract. A film producer named Dwayne Stevens had once worked with Akon and claimed Akon owed him millions from prior business dealings, including ventures like Akon City and Akoin. According to the court filings, Akon had created a shell game of companies and false promises, right? So he now, this is the point where everyone begins to see that Akon really maybe might not be the guy that he promises to be, right? It's like also for me, there's always the saying that'll be like, nobody's that nice. Sometimes when something seems to be too good to be true, like when someone's too kind, so it comes off in a certain way to me. Oh, maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just the issue that I have. But anyway, I digress. Even if that's still working its way in the courts and the cracks are showing, the problem with Akon City isn't just that he failed. The problem is that it promised to hope to people that needed it the most. They used flashy branding to sell something that wasn't ever real, right? None of this was ever intended to happen. None of this was ever intended to go through. None of this was, at least in my opinion, like, don't take this as fact. It might happen. It might still happen by 2029. I might be proven wrong. Remember, like the way I said, this is still ongoing, right? So just like the Maria story, like something might happen and like it might change, and I will gladly put in an update, but as of right now it's not looking good. Like I'm not gonna lie, this is let me go back to that previous image and show it to you. Like, this is, guys, I'm sorry, but this is pathetic. Okay, like this is not it. This is wild. This is sad. Like, this is not a good look on Africa, man. Like, just making us look bad. Like, come on, all these years, and that's all that's come out of all of this. Like, come on, man. But anyway, and you see, in the bigger picture, Akon City is just a textbook example of what happens when a celebrity ego meets like a development fantasy. We've seen it before, from Ja Rule's Fire Festival to Kanye's Wyoming Ranch project. Like, celebrities love big ideas. But big ideas need big execution, and sometimes like they're just not qualified. And more importantly, transparency, accountability, and planning are much needed. And that's where the ego comes in. That's why ego gets in the way. Like, a lot of these people just kind of admit when they're wrong. Like, this city, when I look at pictures of what it was supposed to be, when I look at these development pictures, I'm looking at something designed in a fucking video game. This ain't something you build in real life. I've never seen nothing like this before in my life. Like, I'm never gonna lie, it's fucking ugly. Like, I'm sorry, it's fucking ugly. Like, maybe it's just one of those things that needs to rub off on me. But like, I just don't like the way it looks. It looks like something out of Mass Effect. It looks like something I'd expect to see in Starfield. Okay, like, but you see, and also Akon had a dream, but he didn't have the blueprint, right? I feel like this was a case where so much time was spent on the press. He was enjoying the press, the media coverage, They were enjoying taking the pictures, like putting on the suits and sitting there with the blueprints and sitting down in the boardroom meetings and talking about this. But it just probably didn't go the way it went in his head. Like, when I was younger, sometimes when like you're all excited to go to like an event or something, and you like start picturing in your head the way it's gonna go, right? Or like the way you want it to go, and when you get there, in like you like realize, oh shit, like it's something completely different, and like everything goes lopsided, and you end up not having a good time. I kind of feel like that's kind of what he's going through, right? He like had this idea, he had this big dream, like $6 billion is a lot of money. But I think $6 billion is not enough to build an entire city, especially one with flying taxis. Hold on, let me Google how much was the Burj Khalifa. Okay, so it says here the Burj Khalifa cost $1.5 billion to build. Okay, so with the money to build, let's say, 4 Burj Khalifas, do you think he could have built a city with flying taxis and a state of the art hospital run by cryptocurrency, right? Do you like put in the comments? Do you think for the price of 4 Burj Khalifas, do you think Akon could have built this city? Because, like, there's a term for this in development studies, and it's called philanthrocapitalism. Okay, it's when rich people use their wealth and influence to fund massive projects, usually with more PR than actual results. And when it sounds great, it often causes more harm than good when it collapses, because now you have all this money, resources that have been wasted. In fact, if Akon City, I think, went further and you had all these buildings sitting in the middle of all this land, I think the cost of tearing them down would just be as much as like the cost of tearing them all down would cost as much as putting them up. Because at the same time, remember, that cleanup is gonna be fucking expensive. This is in the middle of goddamn Senegal, my guys. Okay, right? That cleanup is gonna be expensive. It's gonna take time. Okay. And because real development, real change doesn't come from just $1 billion dreams and like a few renders of videos or a few photo ops or anything like that. It comes from roads, schools, water systems. It comes from the ground up, not from the top down. They focus, like, if I feel like if they focused more on all this PR stuff once something actually came for it, like if they stop the camera, just announce it, go silent, go ahead and stop telling people about what you're going to do, because at that point people have expectations, right? If they went ahead, announced it, stayed silent, put up at least 10 buildings, right? If you put up at least 10 buildings, like, I'm looking at these pictures, and okay, like, at least, like, when I look at like a photo like this, right, I go ahead and I see what do you call it, when I look at a photo like this, I go like, at least this is more manageable, right? If you put up at least just like one of these buildings, right, on the right side, like, that would have at least been something. Take photo ops once one of these buildings are up and operational. Like, show people something. Like, all this, fuck, it's just such a bad look for us, man. Such a bad look. By 2023, Akon tried to clarify that it's still happening and that delays were because of COVID and investor hesitation. But he also admitted that the city might take decades and not the 8 years that he had originally promised, which honestly makes sense because the Burj Khalifa took 6 years to build. Okay, that I don't think he'd build this whole futuristic city with and somehow advanced technology in 8 years. Like, no, brother, that is not gonna happen. If you said the helicopter, I would have said fine, I believe you, right? But this is insane. Right? Just looking at this as an adult. The first time I ever looked at this, I was a child, right? So I was just gobbling up everything that I heard, you know. But meanwhile, Akon continues to appear at panels and music festivals. He occasionally still talks about Akon City, but the hype is gone. The website hasn't seen major updates. The coin is nearly worthless. It's literally worthless than, like, I think, like Robux at this point. And for most of the world, Akon City it's become a punchline. It's a meme. It is a joke. Like, no one takes it seriously. Ask anyone about Akon City, and just some people don't even know what it is. Other people think it's a scam. Other people, I think it was a crypto rug pull, if you ask me. But I'm not saying it was. I think, keyword think. Please don't come after me. I'm just some guy on YouTube. Okay, but anyway. the saddest part, the people really believed that Akon would do this. Akon wasn't just a pop star. He's a black artist of Senegalese descent. Coming up to help his roots. I guess to these people that meant something. That's like me going to Kenya and telling these people I'm here for you and scamming them all. Like this, like the philanthro capitalism is like disgusting. He had goodwill, for the entire continent. At least I hope he did. I hope he isn't responsible for this. I hope when more information comes out, he'll at least be more innocent than like we think that he is right now. But instead of building a city, like he built a meme, he built a joke. All right. So like from this, what can we take away from this? Like what's the lesson from this? Well, for number one, ideas are easy, but the execution part is the one that's hard. Throwing billions at a problem without structure or planning or transparency, without help, it doesn't hurt just your pocket. It's gonna hurt your investors' pockets. It's gonna hurt your reputation, man. Honestly, the hurting your pockets part isn't even the biggest issue. Once the reputation part is, because now if you wanna come up with another project again, it's just gonna be viewed as philanthropic capitalism or just bullshit. Right, it's just gonna be viewed as a way of like it's just gonna be looked as a rich person like trying to step outside of the lane again, because when things collapse, people who suffer aren't the billionaires. It's like the locals too. The people who will, like in this case, the people who really suffered too is sure Akon's reputation's done for, but it is the people who believed in him, the locals there. They had hope. The people who had hope in him, the people who had faith, the believers, the ones who waited for change that never came. Like I couldn't imagine. Like I'm just growing up, and the older I'm getting, all I see is this. Just this building. That is it. And second, just because someone's famous doesn't mean they know how to build a city or they're good at just because they're good at making hits doesn't know they're good at like managing real estate or handling a crypto project. Like we need to stop putting celebrities to this point where we just trust everything they say, right? We see it too many times like, oh, this crypto rug pulls happen. There's a new one every month. There's a new person making an apology every now and then. And like, this is Akon. Everybody knows who Akon is. I understand why people have trust in Akon. But just because he's Akon doesn't mean that he knows what he's doing, right? Just because they're good at make the hits doesn't mean that like they're good at economic systems, supply chains, or even public infrastructure. The story of Akon is still ongoing, and maybe somehow something will rise. I hope something comes out of this. I hope we get something more than just what we've already gotten. But for now, as it stands, to see a video of what happened to this lady called Maria Kowalczyk, click this video here, and YouTube also thinks that this video here is the best for you. So, yeah, thank you for watching. It's been your boy. Take care.
I'll say, you got it!
What did we